Internet! Oh. Is the static pretty bad? Can one of you tell me if the static is bad?
Hold on, let me go listen to the show.
Doesn't sound like it to me, and keep in mind I've got a very limited element because I'm running Ethernet while running a couple downloads. Doesn't sound too bad, even at 360p. Oh, Sneaky, you still have the video quality picker.
Oh wow,
this
that's magical.
It's stuck around. It
Let me,
usually switches off every week.
I know, right? Let me just disable that timer.
Alright, so not
there,
only is there like no static, there's basically there's almost no delay either. Which that's
maybe
been a problem
Twitch
for us in the past.
Maybe Twitch is finally deigning.
No, shut up and be grateful.
To bless me.
Shut up and be grateful.
We're losing
with
it.
the features that I deserve, and the delay is back.
I can't wait for the Friday stream after kicking all my friends out of my house. We're like, all right, let's see if Sneaky fucked up. Yep, we don't have the video quality anymore. In fact, you have been forcibly downgraded to 240p.
Oh no, I was gonna say I've been forcibly upgraded to only stream at 4K, 140 FPS. Literally, no one can watch me.
It's like, we are making each stream at the highest possible quality. Does anyone even own a monitor capable of this? Probably 3 people.
Probably 3 people.
I'm saying technically I can see 4K.
If you hook your laptop up to your fucking
TV.
Oh, yeah, freaking, so, Combat Crazy was looking for a new monitor, and
oh no.
he was like, oh yeah, I want to get one of them 4K monitors with a 144 8 hertz refresh rate. I'm like, dude, look, dude, I'm gonna be clear with you right here, dude. At no point in time in the next 5 years are you going to be able to do 4K at 144 hertz. Now, yes, admittedly, it is technically possible. However,
Probably not with his setup.
well, not even just that. It's just, you gotta keep in mind, games might not support that yet. We're barely getting games to support 60.
And actually, I can say from experience, my experience on PC, the only games I see upscaling to 4K 60 FPS are fighting games, because 60 FPS is a requirement, and it just upscales the textures, and that's it.
So, anyway.
And even then, like, it doesn't matter if your rig is capable of it. The game does not like it, because things start tearing and it starts lagging.
This is
it has random spikes.
Fanfiction Contempt Theater 9002, not Max's Fight Game Corner, which could also be a video series you could do to get more viewers.
It would have been a video series, but we're Pigment Kings in my group. We're trash.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean. Oh, by the way, how did your friends react to me turning you on to the joy of Ike?
They did not react well. They do not know how to handle Ike, and there's also another problem where, some people, they're like, oh, I'll just fight the highest level AI to get used to fighting people.
No.
Well, no, in Smash, level 9 AI fight like people. Problem is, I don't fight like other people. So he's like, I got really good at the level 9 Ike and level 9 Mac. Well, what happened? I tried to fight you, and you don't fight anything like them. It's like, no shit.
Yes.
I don't fight like anyone.
See, I actually fight like a level 3 CPU.
Sneaky, you have
Big brain plays. I'm actually so bad, I juke them.
I don't know about Smash, because I haven't gotten to fight you. But in the Naruto games, you would randomly go from a level 3 to having instances of, like, he is ascended to, like, a level 9 Smash CPU in this Naruto game, and then you drop the ball somewhere along the way.
That just sounds like the entirety of my life, where it's like, I have a singular moment of, what the fuck, how did he manage that? And then literally, like it's an anime, the next moment I'll, like, trip over air or some shit, and fucking smash my face into the ground.
Yeah, in fact, I want to look at something now, because I never looked at this. I want to know... Oh, come on, is there no, like, universal tier list for... Seriously? Oh, God.
Oh, looks like we're making a tier list video for Smash, boys! It'll be our first original YouTube content!
I wanted to see what the community had, if the community had tier lists for Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 3, since that's what we sunk the most hours into.
Well, why don't we make one? You know?
Of course, Guy is up in, like, S tier. Hanzo in SS tier.
Also,
man,
what
Hanzo.
do you mean they didn't know how to deal with Ike?
Yeah, I could see Hanzo as... They weren't sure how to deal with Ike at first.
How do you guys feel about
again,
My Hero Academia Konosuba?
That sounds like it's not going to end well, but sure, why not?
That sounds good. Let's do it.
But my preferred playstyle in most games is like slow heavy. Dark Souls, if a fighting game has a slow heavy character, I'll accept the shitty frames if it means I get one good punch in.
Oh, well, this does make me happy to know that all of the Fire Emblem characters are either S or A.
So, anyway,
material
This
list for
is,
Ultimate?
as I said, a My Hero Academia Konosuba crossover
Okay.
called Till My Last Breath by Virgo with Cheer. Of course, you can follow the link that we put in the Discord if you wish to follow along, or you can just listen to my dulcet tones. Now, of
Till
course,
my
as
last
per...
breath. Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get the feeling this isn't going to be a comedy, which makes me sad.
It's a humor adventure story, so we all know what that means.
Named Till My Last... Not even the proper version of Till, by the way.
Yeah, I know, right?
The
Yeah.
proper version of that is apostrophe TIL.
Yeah.
But TILL, apparently you are farming your
Yeah.
last breath.
He tills breaths. Anyway, of course, as per Twitch guidelines, we would be remiss if we did not inform everyone that they are to not contact the author in any form or fashion, as Twitch considers that harassment. Do you understand that, Fairy Tail Dragon Slayer? Twitch considers that harassment. And as people who stream on Twitch, we are heartily required to inform everyone that Twitch considers that harassment. Not us. So we're not telling you to not contact the authors. Because
No, we
won't.
are, because though doing otherwise...
No, let me
would-
finish!
Wow.
We're not
Alright,
telling you to not contact the authors because we want to keep our, things secret and we don't want them to know that we're, commenting on their stuff. We're telling you not to contact the authors because Twitch is telling us to tell you to not contact the authors. I would love for every single author of every fan fiction we cover on this podcast to come on and give me a versus debate where they try and defend their story. But that isn't going to happen because most of the authors just either ignore me, block me, curse me out, and then block me, or tell me all my opinions are wrong, curse me out, and then block me.
To be fair, hold on a minute. You've forgotten the ones that don't know you exist.
Well, they know I exist because I messaged them.
And I'm just saying, some of them don't even pay attention.
Yeah, some of them just don't even pay attention to the messages. Yeah. But anyway, enough about that. Let's get into this fic, because everyone wants to read Konosuba My Hero Academia. I know, genuinely, there is Blessed Heroes. There is actually one single story in this entire section that I would recommend. It's called, Blessed Hero's Heart or some shit. It is fantastic. Unfortunately, it appears to have consumed every last droplet of creativity and productivity and ability in this section. Every last scrap goes to that one story, and the rest of these stories are left with nothing. And yes, this is episode 69. Yes, I see it. I know.
Oh.
So, this is a story of last times and then first times. What?
I don't know.
And those times you want to bash your own or someone else's skull into a wall time. Like you, for example, author. They all aren't always so clear-cut. What isn't clear-cut? The times? The times where you want to bash your own head into a wall because the author is trying to be some fucking armchair philosophical cunt rag? Yeah, it's not clear-cut, author. I don't know what should be first, you or the wall. What I hate more than a bad summary is authors who have clearly just read a single, Tumblr post on psychology and then think they're goddamn experts. And then they post, some sort of, pseudo-deep shower thought shit. And they're like, man, I totally nailed that. So apparently, the local store that I just started going to recently because it's closer to my place of work, sells hard cider for $6 less. So I'll be drinking a lot more of that.
Please don't.
The Evil Within / Virgo with Cheer, depending on your viewing platform, proudly presents a new story. I don't know why I do this to myself. Probably because you're trying to fill your void of creativity and ability to write with countless new stories and ideas to distract yourself from the realization that you aren't a good author and that all of the time you have spent on these countless stories has actually been wasted. But that's just my personal opinion. But this idea just wouldn't leave me alone, and it's a shame to keep it cooped up in my brain. No, it's a shame that you didn't. Who knows, maybe this will reach the top of the fandom like my other super popular story, I Dream Big. Okay, well now I have to see, what is this other popular story?
There are two things that always rise to the top. The cream, and the shit bubbling up underneath it.
That is fair.
Which fandom?
Let us see. We can probably figure out by reviews. Okay, yeah, here we go. Nope.
I don't know. The problem is that these crossover
70,
sections are
20,
actually fairly small.
100, 10, 1, 37.
843.
I think he's talking about, this is his most popular story. What?
Which one is?
Till My Last Breath. That's his most popular story. What's maybe the Hero of Hard Work, a My Hero Academia Miraculous Tales of Ladybug crossover.
Huh.
Oh, I've never even seen that show, and I'm annoyed on its behalf.
I think that's the one he's talking about because it's a older story that has a similar level of triple-digit favorites and follows, while the rest of his stories can barely break 10.
Yeah, this has got to be it.
That's got to be it.
I wasn't aware that there are people chomping for Miraculous and Hero Academia crossovers.
I wasn't aware there were people chomping for Miraculous.
I mean, it was a fun show, but...
But anyway, so speaking of this section, all of them are rated M. Okay.
See, it's a French Saturday morning cartoon.
Oh yeah, here we go. Blessed with a Hero's Heart. So
Wait.
there is so for scale here, there is
four.
4 stories in this section. Blessed with a Hero's Heart has 1,000 favorites. There is 4 stories in this section.
Oh boy. Like, holy shit. I'm sorry. That would be like me saying I have... Going back to, like, a common thing, that would be like me saying I have the most popular Halo. It's the only one.
Is it still the only one, though?
It's still the only one last I checked.
Jesus!
It's still the only one.
How many favorites do you have on that, though?
69.
Too many.
69.
I have 69. It's one of those ones I look at, it's like, I would like to go back and do this one, but
same.
that's effort.
Nice.
No, like... I guess it's nice to say you've got one of the more popular ones, but again, it's in such a small...
I got one of the most popular stories in my section. Oh, really? How many stories are in your section? 2? How many favorites do you have? 100? Low-key looks at the shit post of the Naruto Ruby story.
Oh,
Good for you, kid.
But by the way, the Hero is not the most popular in this section,
Oh.
and there are only 6 stories in this section.
Oh no.
It looks to be the second most popular slang. Oh boy.
Oh.
Is that just how long it's been since he first No, this was published April 5th. Till My Last Breath was published April 5th. Huh.
That is unfortunate. Anyway, let us get right on into this. Anyway, so he includes a legend because we all know that his very complicated story of massive. He has 10 chapters and 17,000 words. The reason why we have a legend in our story, the Dark Souls one, is because one single chapter is nearly 20k words. And we have like 5 different variances of people speaking through various mediums.
Yes.
So anyway, Last Breath, Chapter 0. Midoriya! Detroit Sumashu! The ground cratered and muscles strained both from pressure and ungodly manipulations. Despite the sheer strength present from both singular party. Singular party. Singular party possessive.
Oh no.
From both parties,
Oh no.
it was quickly becoming clear what the outcome would be. That was weaker than before. Muscular roared as he began to press his fist downward. Just a little more. Just a little more. Fine. It's fine. Muscular was able to make out from under his fist before the kid started yelling again. I will not let him pass me. So I'm guessing this is the Mega Muscle Dude versus Midoriya scene in season 2.
Can I just say that dude's quirk? Oh man,
That dude's quirk is
just sickening.
Well, not even that. It's just like, if you wanted to have any life outside of being a gym rat, tough shit.
Yeah. You think he turned to villainy because he just got kicked out of too many gyms?
You think his parents named him Chadwick?
Wait, what is his actual name? I don't
Not
know.
Chad. It should be Chad, but it's not Chad. I can tell you that much.
What is this dude's actual name? Oh, good. That's, That doesn't look like we were ever given his actual name.
So his name is now Chad. So anyway, I will not let him pass me.
It's canon according to Sneaky.
Yeah, it's canon now.
Oh my god, okay, wow. The wiki is just broken. It just keeps going to a blank page. Alright.
Nice.
Oh boy.
Anyway. I will not let him pass me, so run, Midoriya screamed to the little runt behind him, daring to turn away. So guys, this is actually something we talked about previously when we were commenting on, what's that guy's, for the Sekiro, Naruto fic that I was like, you're injecting, flavored commentary into the omnipresent third person?
What stupidity have I missed?
The author's injecting flavored commentary into the omnipresent third person.
Wonderful.
Yes. This kid, Muscular muttered for a moment himself. What? Muttered for a moment himself. So what,
yeah.
he just muttered muscular underneath his breath? Before his shit-eating grin got even bigger.
You know, I feel like this you don't have to get a beta reader that will throw back for you, because there are beta readers like me who are just like, listen, I'm just really good at grammar and punctuation.
Listen, I don't even care about your I don't even care about your story, but your grammar is so offensively bad.
Like you're just Sneaky has made 3 or 4 easy jokes because the grammar's just been fucked.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm gonna go grind out robot parts.
You have fun with
and
that.
listen to this
Man,
yeah.
you were the best. Wow, you actually used the proper verb of your. And the muscles doubled, pushing the kid up to his ankles in the dense rock and cradling
It just
the
occurred
rest
to me. It's
surrounding them.
Sneaky. Something just occurred to me.
Yes, go ahead.
It's fucked up that when someone uses the proper version of your or your, we're impressed. That's really bad.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. Might I suggest you apply beverages to the forehead?
Is someone having headache issues?
No, just you. To solve your depression derived from the absolute inability for people to write.
Oh.
Muscular grinned as you already said he grinned, as he felt blood burst from Kid's strained arms, even as he called for him to shut up. What a riot. Finally, though, Muscular had enough. With an instant thought, as opposed to a slow thought or a slightly above fast thought, leg burst from flesh and expanded, and his fist becoming nothing more than tons of meat to crush the brat who thought he was strong. Show me your blood. Was he a fucking psycho from Borderlands?
No,
He is now.
I mean, Muscular was like an actual nut job.
Yeah, I know. And just making the joke now because I couldn't make
I
it
know.
Still, though, it's pretty dumb. In case anyone was unaware of what my opinion was. So, anyway, just random scene change to Midoriya. So Midoriya's thinking to himself, hero can always break out of a tough spot. The words of All Might filtered through your head. Second person? Really, author? Second person? Not only is that actually illegal on this website, but second person?
You sound
Really?
so offended by the second person.
I am exceedingly
Okay,
offended
not
by
that
the
you
second
should be.
person.
By the way, just a heads up, everybody. Midas Mode 2, the best Dota tournament ever produced, period. Even better than the International, is currently happening, and you should all probably be watching that. I know I am. It's on my second monitor. Not that there's anything to watch right now, but... Oh, no, wait, we've got picks and bans going.
I'll probably watch it once they put the VOD up. Anyway, but even they didn't help you in this literal tight spot. Missing a joke. You're marking your story as humor. And you missed the joke of between a rock that you're embedded in and a hard place, the muscle pushing. Jesus Christ.
Sneaky. Not everyone is intelligent.
Yeah, I know, but it's like the most basic joke ever. Besides, like, knock knock or some shit. You had to put everything you had towards keeping Muscular from enveloping you and crushing you whole. teeth clenched and beginning to drip blood from side of your mouth. Yeah, this is also why you don't do second person, is because your grammar and your tensing just gets absolutely fucked.
Who say? And that's not even usually your fault. It's just hard.
But it is the author's fault in this case. Second person.
I'm just saying it's generally not a specific failing of them, other than that they were dumb enough to pick second person.
Speaking of which, I'm thinking about getting a high point.
So what did that have to do with second person?
Nothing.
Okay. Just wanted to talk about getting a microwave.
Yes, a microwave, a handheld microwave. One might even say that fires, magnetite at people with its microwave power.
Alright, well, whatever you said you wanted to get, then never mind. I've been cutting in and out on the voice channel.
Yeah, I know. That's why I
So-
switched us to US Central, so I could actually hear you.
Ow!
Anyway, so anyway, Midoriya is being crushed, and the author is completely inept. Inept author, inept author, inept author, inept author, blah blah blah, canon. Scene change to general view. I'm literally going to shove a stake through my brain. Canon. Detroit, Delaware Smash. Was that canon? I feel like that's
It
just
was.
Oh, okay. Fair enough then.
Which, once again, I will say, by far the most amazing accomplishment of All Might's American voice actor is him shouting that stuff doesn't make me roll my eyes.
Dude's good at what he does.
Yes. In America. Are you even American? No.
No, but he did, like, do his, like, hero internship in America.
No, I
Had a sidekick and everything.
was making I was making a little Karibo joke.
Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, the America guy. They,
Keith?
Yeah, they make Teeth say, "In America," at the end of every sentence.
In America, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has guns.
And at the end of the episode, one of the guys goes, "Are you actually even American?" He goes, "No." Shut up. I
really do hope-
actually liked the Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge series, and then Little Kariba was like, "Hey guys, I'm just gonna go take a 17-year hiatus." So I was like,
Honestly,
okay.
I hope the dude just is able to just get through the last little bit. I really
Anyway,
do.
so canon. Oh, a Yuta canon where Izuku kills himself killing Muscular. And he has this really, like, shitty death scene where he tries through the whole, like, I'm dying, so you have to listen to my last words like it's a movie, and I'm gonna live long enough to tell you all my last words.
Okay.
And then at the end of his last words, he tells Koda to drink his blood. And,
Oh! We're just going to pass this off to Mild now, who will not know what to do because he hasn't gone through the proper training.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
this can't possibly backfire.
No, it won't backfire at all. Anyway, so Koda drinks the blood, and we're talking second person again randomly. We're just randomly back in second person, and Midoriya's
Midoriya
like,
just killed. I think he just killed this kid.
Unlikely, yes. I just
I
gave
mean,
you my
that
quirk.
it's not like that was ever an unlikely outcome.
I just gave you my quirk. What? How? Why? What? You're young still, so no one will notice if you get stronger out of nowhere. Wait, isn't he? I don't know what's going on. Find All Might. You'll be a great hero, Coda. With these last words, Izuku Midoriya died. He never would become the world's greatest hero, but he was the one boy. Eyes snap open. End of chapter. Are you hooked on my story yet? That's literally what he says.
I'm sorry, no one will notice this young child suddenly getting stronger. I'm sorry.
No one will notice this young child glowing.
He already has an established quirk. I think they're going to notice a very unique quirk sprouting up out of nowhere in this 7-year-old.
Yeah, yeah. One might think that. One might think that. One might even think that the author just really wanted to get rid of that quick.
Also, just an annoyed side. Nope. Wait, I got so annoyed I lost my train of thought. I'll be back. I'll be back.
He'll be back.
Okay. So, alright. I think that's like the first time in like, how would you say?
I don't know. What are you trying to say?
5 episodes that we've actually covered a story within 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's been a while.
But I mean, honestly, I just this chapter there was nothing here. Why am I Australian all of a sudden? I don't know, mate. Why am I Australian all of a sudden?
It happens occasionally. Ignore it.
Listen, he randomly develops.
Crikey!
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We're gonna get some lettuce. Anyway, my main dislike of this chapter here is, I mean, obviously the shit tier grammar, but more or less the entire opening chapter was just canon. It was literally just canon, except for the very last, like, 200 words where Izuku dies instead of not dying. And that's it. That is the first chapter. It's canon, a shit ton of canon, poorly described canon, more poorly described canon than Izuku dies. That's supposed to hook us? At what point was there a hook? Like, you literally just wrote canon and then was like, Izuku dead. Like, oh, that's great, author. Well fucking done. You did so much effort into crossing over the worlds and making an interesting plot point to make people read your story. Oh, wait, you did none of those things.
Yeah, I want to know why Izuku would pick Aqua, because if this is how we're doing this, like,
You know what?
I don't
Let's
think
see.
there's anything she could. There's nothing she could do to actually piss him off.
Let's see. Blah blah, ho hum. So you died. Don't worry, sweet child, you're safe now. Oh, no, it's Eris. It's Eris.
Oh wait, does Aqua just not show up outside of like a cameo?
I don't think Aqua gets to be the one to reincarnate him.
I mean, if they ditch Aqua, I'll be super happy.
If they ditch Aqua for Eris, that's fine. Although that will fuck with the story in a completely different way. Oh boy, we get so much.
Izuku has a breakdown. Eris is bad at explaining things. Izuku jumps to conclusions. Eris is like, "Oh my God, you're such a pure, sweet summer child."
Which, to be fair,
blah
he
blah.
is.
Video games, yes, sort of. So I can go to your world and become a hero? Yes, and if you do, I'll do it. Whatever Eris was expecting, she wasn't expecting such a response, such passion. So cool was what went through her head, and she was so mega impressed by Uzuku, and she was quickly developing a crush on him.
I. Mm, mm, I believe we've just lost the plot.
Okay, so what looks like, Eris was so fucking pumped for Izuku to go save the day, she yeeted him out of the afterlife and into the world, except that she then panics, realizing he never signed the waiver protecting his soul, and he also never got a blessing from the gods granting him power. Oh no, how is he ever going to save the day from here? And Eris starts crying and says, "How did Aqua ever manage to do this?" So it looks to be like canon Konosuba is currently ongoing, and the reason why Midoriya got Eris is because Aqua was already summoned into the world by whatever the fuck the main character is.
Okay. Okay. Can I just give one point to the author for not just replacing Kazuma like that?
I mean,
One
on
point.
one hand,
He gets 1 point.
on
That's
one
it.
hand, I
Out
do
of
like
100.
it because it is original, right? Like, no,
Compared to what we've
stuff
seen,
still happened.
yeah.
Oh no, poor Midoriya ends up without a blessing from our favorite steely goddess. Hey, everyone gets things wrong on their first day. Why are gods any different? Because gods are gods and not,
Oh, wait, the first day. Okay, so this isn't. God damn it, this is like 2 hours after.
Yeah, pretty much. Wait till y'all learn our heroes' classes. I bet you'll never expect it. Okay, you know what? I'm hooked. What's your retarded idea for his class? Blah blah blah.
Okay, hold on.
not
Before we
hang
get
on.
to that,
If it's not magic,
what
fuck off.
should it be?
It should be magic. He's gonna have
clearly,
high int.
Midoriya is a high wisdom, high int character. He's going to also have high endurance, of course. So I'm thinking druid.
Druid, cleric.
No, he's a frontline druid. High wisdom, decent
Yeah,
intelligence, high con, druid.
Well, actually,
No, but if he's got high wisdom, high
He's-
wisdom and high con, he should be clunking about in plate, dispensing heals.
he'd have high int and high wisdom, though. He's able to retain a lot and know how to use it.
Well, yeah, but int doesn't matter a fig for those two. Like, obviously, you don't want them to be stupid, but if they are, it's
okay, so apparently, adventurers were fucking kicking on some little girl, and Izuku, with no powers, no training, beats up a bunch of adventurers, and the girl's like, "Wow, you're amazing. What's your class? You must be super high level." And he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? What's a class?" "Oh, another update will be coming soon, and you'll finally be able to see his class." Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Class.
Or we just control
Lich!
Class.
What?
Lich.
What?
Izuku No, okay. That is literally not how it works in Konosuba. That is not how it works in Konosuba. Lich is specifically only for undead. Only for the undead.
Yeah, not only that,
Literally the only reason Kazuma can learn it is because he knows a Lich who is willing to teach him a skill that is unique to Liches. Fucking...
Anyway, so...
Okay, I'm sorry. Him being a Lich...
You guys ready for some grade A humor?
That's what happened.
From the author? So here's some amazing back and forth humor. "Oh God, a new guy joining us. Wonder what he'll be like stat-wise. I wonder what class they are. We need more rangers in our party. God, shut up about the Rangers, Daryl. They aren't real. Yes, they are. Let me have this. And then they continue to spout other such nonsense.
What? Let me have what we. That kind of joke only works if we have an established trend of what he's supposed to want. Unless the author's trying to go, Rangers don't exist.
Okay, so he gets his adventurer card, and
He's
pricks...
a hero.
Yeah, hold on. He pricks his finger on the adventurer card, and instead of picking his class is picked for him, and his former class is hero, and his current class is lich, and he's automatically level 26 with 5,000 HP, bajillion mana, 1,000 strength, 80 wisdom, 80 intelligence, bajillion speed, high endurance, and 35 luck. Wasn't it, like, ridiculous for a level 1 to have, like, level 20 stats or something?
Yeah.
In Konosuba? Okay, yeah.
I'm trying to remember. It's not. It's unusual to have high stats.
Are you
think
guys
what
ready
leveling
for some more
does-
pun-based comedy from this author?
No, but I think what leveling does is it gets you skill points, and you use those for skills. Not. Yeah, I think you can improve them, but
Izuku has the following
Strange.
skills. Limb it break. Oh, get it? Limb it break. Push through your limits for incredible speed and strength. Carryover from previous life. Plus Ultra. Go beyond by surviving past negative HP as long as you have mana. That's how that works. Analysis. The ability to analyze literally everything. Carryover skill from previous life. Spirit Drain. Eat mana from other people. Race skill. It's not a race. Lich is not a race.
does that? I guess he actually is undead then.
Yeah, I guess he's undead.
He better be.
He's a race skill. It better be because he's an undead.
What?
Oh yeah, the next chapter is just like, we're just gonna ignore that he's an undead for now, which isn't that big of a deal for some reason, but alright.
By the way, this is. I assume this stupid author watched the show. Like I forget what it was, but it's something like where some guy goes and his job is Demon King. And everybody goes, "Oh my God, your job is Demon King." I assume he watched that stupid thing.
Yeah, I do. I actually liked that show, to be honest.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I said it was dumb.
I found the idea of, you get job fared, and they're just like, yeah, this is what your job is. And so it is like the epitome of the trope I make fun of in Naruto fanfiction, where everyone's like, oh, you're the Demon King, let's treat you like shit.
Yeah, but in this one, it's...
That's
oh
not
my
gonna
God.
backfire.
Well, no, in this one, it's, oh God, he's the Demon King, and people react in two ways. They either shit on him because he's not the Demon King, or they kiss his ass because he's the Demon King.
Well, I know, like I said, I watched the show.
I was saying that for the benefit of everyone else.
Okay, yeah, but the way you said it sounded like you were correcting me.
I'm sorry. But yes, it's a...
The
idea
Demon
in itself
King,
is funny.
the Dragon King of Scantalion, yeah, something like that, yeah. Yeah, it was just so silly, but it's just, oh my God.
Idea, funny. Execution, mediocre. Overall, pretty good.
Unlike this story, where it was just garbage through and through. Alright, so you know what we're gonna chase that wonderful story down with? We're gonna chase it down with a Worm Ruby story.
Jesus Christ, why do you hate us?
Hope you're all ready for this. Anyway, so this is the Sisters Grimm, a Ruby Worm story.
Oh no.
I've heard Worm referenced multiple times, and I have no idea what it is. So, Worm is a web novel. It was yeah.
Web
Worm.
novel, yeah.
No. So, the origins of Worm, from what I know, is based off of a short novella written by Wildbow in response to another series called The Adventures of Psycho Gecko, which is basically imagine the Joker, but he had comedy-based powers, the funding of Batman, and a TARDIS. So anyway, novella gets written of Worm. People like it, so Wildbow turns it into a web serial. Eventually, it gets real big. But Worm, in a nutshell, is a grim derpy take on what would happen if superpowers were real. You know, just suddenly in the 1960s one day, people just started getting superpowers because they had a bad day. Edgy American My Hero Academia with extra space aliens and dark as shit. Yeah, basically.
I mean,
Is, yeah.
Yes, it came first, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I
Sounds
go with that,
kind of boring,
'cause-
but I might read it. Well, see, the thing is with Worm is that the main character doesn't has their powers by the time the story starts, but they're very recent. And they basically low-keyed it up until the point where the narration of the story starts. So, lots of people really enjoy doing crossovers with Worm because they're just like, oh, instead of the canon powers that the main character gets, she gets, the ability to be a Saiyan, or she gets ideas on how to build, Mega Man tech, stuff like that. It's Worm is a story I would recommend to people on the sole basis that it is one of the few remaining good and interesting takes on what if suddenly superpowers. It's fairly dark, but it does have plenty of cons to it. Wildbow is inconsistent with power scaling and reactions. Taylor, the main character, tends to hold the idiot ball very closely in certain scenes, so plot can progress a certain way. He didn't really have any thought on balancing, which is sort of a problem when it comes to a story where everyone's got superpowers and your main character is a villain, so they're going to end up fighting most of these people. And so what the author ended up doing was killing off a shit ton of characters because Taylor would have a hard time fighting them. and he had someone else kill those characters off. It drags on for far too long, in my personal opinion. Um, but yeah, I still recommend people read it. It's actually fairly good, all things considered. Wildbow has a major authority issue, and it really bleeds into his writing. Pretty much all of the authorities in the story are either bad guys, or they hold the idiot ball, or they do both.
Yeah.
Um,
I was gonna say it's pretty much both all the time.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't. That's not even my biggest problem with the story. My biggest problem is the amount of word of God bullshit that has come out of the story after it was
yeah,
completed
and
or outside of
the death
chapters.
of the author is real when it comes to Worm. Wildbow, because he is a web serial and he got popular because of the increasing fandom around him, he tried to be more interactive with his fandom, and he tried to go on the forums such as Sufficient Velocity and Space
I would say,
Battles
which
to
to be
answer
fair is
questions.
normally a good idea.
Yes, it is, but the problem with Wildbow is that it became very clear very quickly that he never really put too much thought into a lot of the background stuff in his story. And it's one of the things that I heartily recommend everyone does when they're writing an original work, or even a fan fiction just for practice. Because things like, why don't normal people just shoot capes? And the answer to that question from Wildbow, the author, was that whenever Contessa detects a chance that someone might actually kill a cape without any danger to themselves, she sends butterflies into their guns so the bullet misses.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like
Wh-
butterflies get set
What?
in the path of the bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I remember you and me talking
That's
about that.
why
That's
that's
dumb.
why no one is ever that's why no cape is ever killed by a civilian with a gun, is because
Yeah.
Contessa spends her days sending butterflies into guns so they miss.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason as to why the bad guys get away with so much stuff is because one of the characters has a literal I win as a power.
Yeah.
And he's also been very inconsistent on how the I win works. Someone asked him a question one time: if the main character just sends a wall of their power at said I winner, how can she dodge that? And the answer they got was her power, the I win power, would be able to figure out a way to contort the person's body to successfully dodge the wall of power, even though it's solid
Well,
and
and here's the
undodgeable.
problem
Yeah.
with it. So that's stupid, but here's the thing, right? There's actually a semi like he could just go. The power would just
No,
advise them to
no,
go live.
Pedro, no, Pedro. Literal butterflies. Not butterfly effect. Actual butterflies.
Yeah. That was the thing that Wildbow said. The problem with the honestly, the problem with the power is it's actual bullshit. But the bigger issue is she has to do everything herself. That's
Yes.
how it's written.
The
But then he
reason as to
comes
why she's so
after.
effective is because of the people that she has access to, and
Yeah.
that give her the ability of infinite mobility, but she is still bullshit.
Yeah. Well, and here's the bigger issue. Like, here's the exact thing where it's like her power can't possibly get her out of this. Gatekeeper is dead. We know they don't have another gatekeeper. She's trapped in a box. She's stuck in a box that is slowly closing in on her. He will still claim that her power will get her out, even though she has to exert effort
Mhm.
of her own. The power is a voice in the back of her head. That is
I
how it is
mean,
written in the story. That is how
depending
it
on
was
the
described in her
box, it would be
chapter.
possible to get out if it was like wood or
No,
possibly metal.
no, and I'm talking 2 inches of titanium on each wall, slowly closing in on a hydraulic system.
Oh
She
yeah,
she
no.
does not have super strength. She cannot She does not have mobility on her own. She is a normal human with a really specific voice
That,
in her head.
in particular, would cause them significant problems and would be nigh impossible for a normal human
The
being
voices
to
say I have to
let
kill
them-
you all now.
It's like, why? One of you has plans to put me in a box, apparently. Which, that's another problem, is the voices...
Which, the other thing that I had a major problem with when it comes to that is, Contessa's power can't path around new people getting powers. So, say it's, the power says walk down the street. She walks down the street. Except while she's walking down the street, some mugger decides to leap out of the alleyway and hold a woman at gunpoint. Except that woman now triggers with the ability to turn into a sun. And Contessa's dead because the power couldn't predict it.
Yeah, like... That was another one of the major failings, right? Like, because there was like, I don't know what to do here. You weren't supposed to trigger.
But also, no, it's not even you weren't supposed to trigger. It literally cannot path triggers. That is one of its restrictions. It is physically incapable. It can path a hypothetical how to make someone trigger if they could, but it cannot path the trigger event itself, and it cannot path the powers gained from that event. And supposedly, her power just constantly auto-updates the second anyone ever gets powers and incorporates them into the I win procedure. But at the same time, she also can't predict anything.
C8, are you talking about Siberian? Because that is not the power at all. That is a gross misunderstanding of Siberian's power. Siberian's power is, I project an unstoppable object, not I am an unstoppable object. He is very squishy.
He is very stoppable, there's one much say.
Dude follows them around in a van, which, I just say, I'm amazed that no one has ever been like, hey, so we notice everywhere Slaughterhouse 9 goes, there's this weird white van that seems to follow
Honestly,
them.
that's the most impressive part about it all, because 4chan in our world would absolutely be on that shit of like, guys, I have a theory, there is a white van that always shows up precisely when a Slaughterhouse 9 attack occurs, and it's always within 2 blocks of them. And then everyone calls them crazy, and then like 6 months later, it turns out it's true. Let's not spoil it, the man will read it. No, dude. No one ever makes it past the Leviathan fight.
Very few people do.
There's a reason why you never see fanfiction that gets past that point either, because the authors haven't read past that. Oh, that's another thing that's very common in Worm, is that there's so many writers in Worm that haven't actually read Worm.
They just read the wiki or they go off the fan fiction they've read, because the fan fiction keeps so many things basically canon to the Leviathan fight, and then they get to the fight and they're just like, oh shit, I don't know what to do, because I either make them too powerful for the Leviathan, or the Leviathan responds accordingly and wipes Brockton Bay clean off the map this time.
Or the third option, I made this really cool power, and I'm really having a lot of fun. Oh no, the Leviathan fight's here. Oh wait, this power can't actually fight the Leviathan at all.
I guess Brockton Bay is not here anymore.
Yeah.
It's
like,
the third option is really just option 2, part B.
Look, that's another thing I don't understand. Like, I've seen stories handle this differently, like, oh, Taylor gets X power. It's not really good at fighting Leviathan, so the author's just like, alright, rolls dice. Leviathan attacks Seattle instead.
Which, I mean,
I guess that's not... You don't have to do the Leviathan fight. It's not a requirement. It's like, this is the Stations of Canon bullshit that I despise. It's like, Chunin fight? 100% station of canon that is required. It is a literal event that takes place on a set date always at this location
All
during
right,
this time.
I got news for you, Catfish. If you want to make Taylor's power, I am now a D&D character and must make rolls for like significant encounters. Congratulations. You just let Taylor the Bard seduce the Leviathan. What will you do with her new
I would say, well, don't also forget the
significant
fact
other?
that that's fine because Wildbow regularly rolled dice for his.
No, he only rolled dice during the Leviathan fight.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Oh, I thought he rolled I thought he had charts for like major events. Leviathan
As
fight
far
being
as
one of
I'm
the
aware,
first.
he only did it for the Leviathan fight, and then later on he might have had the charts, but he didn't roll later on because he had already invested so much time into Taylor being the character by those points that
Oh.
he didn't feel like moving on to a different character.
Oh. Sneaky, have you seen one yet where Taylor triggered with the ability of a magical girl where it's literally if I punch you hard enough you become my friend? And that's how she
Which
goes
one?
about no, I'm just asking, has anyone done that?
Yeah, which one?
Oh jeez.
There's one by Silently Watches. I haven't read that one yet, but it's by Silently Watches, and he's fucking amazing. It's like, and then there's quite a few actually. That they're all on my list. There's Magical Girl Taylor Chan. There is, which is the um, Fate Magical Girl crossover, Prisma Ilya. There
Yeah.
is
Surely there's
Puella.
a Nanoha one.
There's
I'm
a
sure.
Nanoha one, and there's a Madoka one, and there's a Symphogear one.
I mentioned it in the Symphogear one. Uh okay, well C8, here's how to sum up the Endbringers. Bullshit. Carry on. But no, if you could track down that Symphogear one, I'd appreciate that.
I mean, just use the Worm website.
The Worm website,
Yeah, wormstorysearch.com. It trawls through AO3, QQ, fanfiction.net, space battles, and sufficient velocity.
6,499 stories. All right.
Good luck. It doesn't sort by. Maybe it does sort by crossover. Who knows?
Oh, of course it's space battles. God damn it. Why is it always space battles?
Because space battles is the more active community.
Uh, why do forums exist?
Because internet relay chat.
We're talking about Worm again, Birdie.
Anyway, so back to the original point of this story. This is Ruby Worm crossover, The Sisters Grimm. Taylor Hebert's life was a living
boy.
hell. It only changed when she met the Undersiders on the night she faced Lung. There had been nowhere else for her to go but to them. There had been nowhere else. That is 3,000% false.
Say, I detect notes of falsehood.
She could have gone to the Empire. She could have gone to the PRT. She could have gone to New Wave. She could have gone to Fault Line. She could have gone to Coil. Like, she actually had options. You know, there were options there. It's just that she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be the best hero by infiltrating a bunch of villains and acting like a villain and befriending the villains, and then when the time is right, I will betray my new friends like Emma did to me." Wait a second. Taylor doesn't really think things through. Long, the little man dragon who gets more dragon-y and angrier who gets also Asian. Yes. Anyway, what if that situation had changed? Like, what if Taylor literally did anything but that one fucking most retarded decision ever? I don't know. Although what could have happened? I bet you're gonna tell us. I bet it's gonna be dumb too. Ruby Rose and Yang Xiaolong arrived in Brockton Bay and would cause lots of things to change.
Jesus fucking Christ. No, they wouldn't.
Watch out, Sisters Grimm are on the hunt.
Bum bum bum.
It's just Dun, 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 dun.
We went for a completely different song there. All right.
It's just this story is listed as adventure, hurt, comfort. If there is any section I hate on fanfiction more than I hate romance, it's definitely the hurt comfort section. That is, romance is the only thing I hate more than hurt comfort, and I hate hurt comfort quite a bunch. Because it's just, oh, my life is so terrible. Oh, tell us, why is your life terrible? Oh, the one friend I had has betrayed me, and I did nothing to stop them. Woe be me! Alright. Oh, what part should I feel bad for you for? Because I don't. You know, that's another part where Wild Bill absolutely fucking failed. It's like, you know, it's one thing if he ever showed Taylor, like, trying anything, and he's just like, oh, Taylor just goes, oh, woe is my life. I tried telling the teachers, and the teachers did nothing. I tried to tell the principal, and the principal laughed at me. Have you tried telling your father? I can't tell my father. That would just be burdensome to him. Okay. Have you gone to
Have
the
you considered
police?
laying down and dying for the good of humanity?
Have you considered
us
going
all.
to the police at all with all of these credible threats and acts of violence they do against you? I couldn't go to the police. They would betray me. Okay. Have you tried punching the bullies? I couldn't punch them. Because? Then I wouldn't be above them morally.
You know, I gotta say, I've actually seen someone ask the question, why don't you just punch your bullies? To which the reply was, because then they'll start hitting me harder.
Then you just hit harder.
Well, it's a problem when there are two bullies involved.
And that
And?
is when you escalate
Yeah.
with a shotgun.
Look, I
See, I
mean,
thought
look,
you
I am in a
said
unique
fair.
position of being a nerdy kid that was bullied
I'm sorry,
relentlessly.
what did you say? What did you think I was gonna go for, Max?
A chair? Because that's
No.
that's readily available in most classroom
No,
environments.
no, you don't even need to go for the chair. Like, look, I was a very nerdy kid who was bullied relentlessly by both my family and my peers. And then one day, I took a water bottle and kicked the shit out of someone so hard they had to go to the hospital, and suddenly everyone stopped bullying me.
Was this a different school?
Which school?
No, I don't know what schools you went to. I'm just asking if this was a different school story, because the last one you told me was I beat a kid up so hard I forgot what the fuck I did, and I woke. And you said you blacked out. Don't know what happened.
That
but
was
the
the
other kid
fight.
was on
Yeah,
the ground.
that's the same fight. I did black out on that fight.
Okay, the water bottle is a new addition.
The water bottle is what started the fight.
I would say, no, I've heard about the water bottle before. I
He
have heard
threw
about
my
it.
water bottle, and
Oh, okay. No, all right. No, I
he
meant you
returned
mentioned
it to
water
me.
bottle.
But alongside the water bottle, I also carried a water canteen,
Oh,
which I shouted his name and then proceeded to ram it into his skull point blank as hard as possible when he turned it around. And then when he recovered, I cross countered him in the face.
No, Sneaky. You cross-countered him in the face.
And then I blacked out and woke up impaled into a table. And he was on the ground bleeding profusely. And the people stopped picking on me.
Or say, for me, it was when I kicked a kid's teeth into his lip.
So, it's just, and before that, don't get me wrong, I tried going to, the teachers, and the bullying got worse. And I tried telling my parents, and don't get me wrong, they actually tried to do something about that. Except the bullying got worse because all the parents did was talk to the other parents, and then those parents were like, X's parents said you bullied him. You're punished. And so then the kid would come to the school next day and punch me in the face.
see, that's the point at which I, as a parent, would have been like, all right, you know what? Clear this problem. We're pressing charges.
Yeah, no, that
Because
doesn't happen. No, no,
Well-
Max, I literally, in 7th grade, 5 people ganged up on me with the clear intent to kill me. And you might wonder, how do you know they were trying to kill you? Because one of them was shouting, hit him in the throat, choke him to death and snap his neck.
Yeah, no, okay. So
Come
the way
on now,
my-
Sneaky. That's just youthful exuberance.
And
Okay.
to make this better is that they collected the 6 of us and put us into a room and were like, we need to problem resolve this. Person A, why did you fight this kid? This kid being me. Oh, we wanted to kill him. Do you mean that, exaggeratedly? No, we literally wanted to kill him. We wanted to see him die. Well, I think you have some issues to work out with each other.
Yeah, okay, again, due to the way my dad is, I've inherited at least some of my mindset from my dad. If I found out that shit was happening, there'd be charges pressed, and then just straight up, alright, cool. I'm reporting these parents to defects now, because they have clearly raised a psychopath.
Well, I mean, the other problem is this kid's dad, he was only temporarily here for the year, but his father was a really rich sod. So the school didn't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. My mother didn't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
You know who would have loved to touch that with a 10-foot pole?
Who?
$400 for a free scoop at the local news station.
I was a retarded kid back then. I'm still retarded. I'm just not a kid now.
I know, but again, Sneaky, this is coming from the mindset of a guy whose dad would be busting down the principal's door the next day wondering what the fuck is going on and who the hell is running this shithole to let this happen. You learn things with a dad like mine.
Yeah, no, I get you. But still, yeah, I just have zero. What my point is I have zero sympathy for Taylor. It's because she just tried the bare minimum effort of trying to get the bullying to stop, and then when her bare minimum effort didn't work, she was just like, "Oh well, I guess I'll just be bullied," and then went on to moral tangents about how she's better than her bullies because she refused to use her powers against them. And it's just like, oh my god, get off your fucking high horse, you goddamn bitch.
Hey, that to me felt like it was coming from Wild Bo's experiences, in which he said he told on them once and then never again. because no one ever taught him try again.
Also, I do love the fan fictions out there that are all like, "Oh, Taylor, do you have any proof of this bullying?" "Yes, I have this notebook where I meticulously wrote down every instance of bullying that ever happened to me." "Oh, wow, this is amazing evidence. We can go to the court with this." And I'm just sitting here as a person who took law classes, and Atin sitting there as a person who took law classes going, "Yeah, go to court with it. You can certainly do that."
It's not going to go well for you, but you can do it. Now,
Wouldn't that be considered circumstantial at best?
It is circumstantial at best, and
Yeah, like that would be if the judge was feeling
at
generous.
average, you're going to get laughed out of the court. "Oh, really? A book the supposed what's it with the plaintiff?
supposed victim.
Yeah, but the person suing the other person and trying to press charges, so they would be the plaintiff, right?
Yes.
Yeah. The plaintiff, according to the plaintiff, they have written in this book here for the past several years about all these things that the defendant is doing to them. Is there any proof of any of these actions happening? No. I
Now,
only
to
wrote
be
it
fair-
down.
To be fair, if this was happening immediately after the good lord, quit dying. The thing where she was shoved in a locker and everybody knew who shoved her in the locker.
Yes. If she had capitalized on that, absolutely.
Well, and here's the thing that annoyed me the most about that was Wildbow didn't like. Look, I'm not saying the American judicial system is great. I'm not saying it's fantastic. I am saying that no fucking judge would have let those 4 kids get off the hook.
Literally, it is literal bioterrorism at the lowest charge. Attempted murder on average.
Yeah, well, remember, no, it would actually be multiple separate offenses. It would be
It'd be
charges
conspiracy to attempt murder, assault, attempted murder.
Because it was after school and because they never, physically roughed her up to the point where it could cause significant bodily death.
No, but you do have to keep in mind that Taylor, Wildbow did link the picture of the locker he uses, and it's one of those super thin lockers that a person cannot fit into normally without being physically manipulated to fit into one.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, so that does change it.
Yeah.
But it still probably wouldn't be attempted murder. It would be conspiracy to commit assault and battery. It would be conspiracy to commit I'm not sure what the actual charge would be, but
destruction of property.
Well, destruction of property, but it would be it wouldn't be bioterrorism, but it would for all intents and purposes be that because remember, according to pretty much every school nurse's office, blood is a biological hazard. That the U.S. government has labeled blood a biological hazard.
For good reason, but it's not
I'm
only
not saying
that
it's not for
it
good
wasn't
reason, I'm
only
just
that it was blood, it's the fact that it was rotting blood with insects feasting on it from dozens of different people.
Well, no, that still wouldn't change the charge.
No, but it's now a contamination hazard. Like it's beyond just simply being blood in the locker. Like if they just painted the inside of the locker with pig's blood or something.
Right.
But this is actively rotting, disease-filled blood with insects now carrying this disease. So there is an actual contamination and contagion danger now. From this.
That being said, it still likely wouldn't get a murder charge because it would go. That's where the judge would go. No, that was just stupid kids. And as long as they didn't, as long as they weren't stupid enough.
But do keep in mind that Sophia is currently legally on parole as well.
But again, that wouldn't. Well, first of all,
for
that wouldn't change
for manslaughter.
Yes, but that wouldn't affect the other kids. It would
That's
affect
true.
Sophia, but it wouldn't affect the
They
other
they
kids.
would be what's the term for it?
Accomplices.
Not accomplices. It is accomplices.
Accessories, you mean?
Accessories, yes. Because while they might not have planned to, see Taylor dead with this prank, Sophia might have.
And
any
they
decent
certainly knew it
lawyer
would
could
cause-
probably prove that too.
I was just saying, and they certainly knew it would cause significant harm. And here's the thing: even if Emma's dad,
two law minors talk about work.
no, I was just saying, and here's the thing: even if if Emma's father was an expert lawyer, which first of all,
Well, he's a divorce lawyer, so he's not expert in anything.
let me finish though. Even if he was, he still wouldn't represent his daughter because he's at least enough of a lawyer to know that any judge
you need
would
to
immediately go,
recuse.
get the hell out of my courtroom.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how excellent a lawyer he can afford. That lawyer would be on his knees begging Taylor's father to settle out of court.
Oh my god. It's not. It doesn't even matter what the actual charges at the end of the trial would be. The media circus around it. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, and even ignoring that, the harm that could come just from a trial, the harm that could come to Emma's father's practice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it.
Not just because it's a media circus.
Also keep in mind that she did go. She was diagnosed as clinically insane for 2 weeks after suffering a traumatic break, as far as they were aware, due to what happened in the locker.
I was gonna say, and that doesn't even finish. Like, even ignoring the fact that it's a media circus involving his child, it's a media circus for the divorce lawyer whose child is now on a possible murder rap.
Yeah.
that'll be fun.
Yeah, people are really gonna trust you to make sure everybody gets a fair deal in that divorce.
Yeah.
That's before getting into what the PRT is going to do once they see Sophia Hess's name up on that charge list, too.
Well, no, again, everything that happens to Sophia, that's the thing that's important to know. Anything bad that happens to Sophia will not happen.
Oh my god, I see so many authors get that wrong too. Where they're like, the charges were dropped against all three of them because the PRT intervened for Sophia. It's like, wait.
No. PRT didn't. No, the PRT itself didn't give a shit. Sophia's handler
No.
was corrupt.
No. I'm saying in fan fictions.
Oh yeah,
all the fan fictions are like the PRT extended the hand of God and pardoned Sophia from her mega murder crime of Taylor Hebert, and because the crime was pardoned, Emma got off scot-free too. And then Taylor, seeing this, grew to hate the PRT. And it's just
I think the best version of Taylor being mad at the PRT is like, you literally let this happen under your noses. I'm not even.
Which is what happens in canon, where she goes, "What is wrong with people?"
Yeah, like, how did you let this go by? And then it's like, oh shit, oh wow, this handler was corrupt as fuck. This is why we do screenings, people.
But yeah, like the amount of nonsense that happens there is like, just from someone who I wasn't a law major. I didn't take a bunch of criminal justice classes. I took, I think, 5 or 6 law classes, of which 3 were business law. The first 2 were basic.
I mean, mine were a bit closer, with mine being involved in general law. There was criminal law.
Well, yeah, I'm saying my first 2 were gen law.
And then there was criminal law, specifically dealing with technology involved. But obviously, because crimes with technology involved can also include shit like
physical violence, etc.
Physical violence and etc. Yeah, so we also had to learn a little bit about that.
But that's what I'm saying.
Like, they weren't even, like, 3 classes. They weren't even, like, 2 classes. They were, like, 101s and 106s.
Yeah, like, just passing acquaintance with the law is enough to know that, by God, every single one of those kids' lawyers would be begging desperately for out-of-court settlement. Like, Emma's father would be lucky to be giving the Herbert family, like, conservatively $15 million. Just that family.
Well, they could definitely get away with it, yeah. Yeah.
Let alone what the other... I mean, the Hess family wouldn't be doing anything, but the other two kids would be like, we will sign written apologies, we will move our asses across the country, we will put our kids into 5 years of mandatory counseling, just please don't press charges because you can have them tried as adults for murder.
Yeah. Or near murder, yeah.
Because here's the thing, even as not accomplices, as accessories to murder, they would still be looking at, assuming a murder charge was pressed, I would say second degree sneaky.
I mean, you wouldn't get away. Oh well, when it comes to Sophia, you might actually be able to press for a murder charge.
No. I'm saying the other three kids, the
No,
accessories.
that's what I'm saying. No, is because to be an accessory, there needs to be someone at least being charged with it.
Right. No, I'm saying Sophia would get a murder charge because of her manslaughter probation.
It was planned, so it's first degree, right?
Yeah. I would say
Yeah,
you could easily
premeditated.
press
Yeah.
for first degree premeditated murder with
Dude, we're forgetting the best part about this. She used her cape powers to get the trash into her locker, which means that's a malicious use of cape powers. And that's actually a law in Wild Bow's world.
which, to be fair, it's a reasonable enough law to put in. But
Yeah,
even
well,
ignoring that,
On top of the probation.
I would say even ignoring
she's
that,
on
even,
probation
even
for
if,
fucking manslaughter.
even if the
Yeah.
judge was feeling really nice and was like, you probably weren't seriously attempting to kill her, because if you were, you would have just killed her because you done that before. Even if the judge went with second degree murder, it's still a murder rap.
Or manslaughter, even that. But even manslaughter is still pretty bad in terms.
No,
of
here's the thing. I would say the lowest she would get is second degree, because she would certainly know that doing the stuff she did, like shoving her into that locker, could kill her.
Fair enough.
Not
Yeah. Fair enough.
likely to,
Yeah.
but could. So she certainly ends up with second degree. The rest of them end up with, maybe third degree if the judge is feeling vindictive, manslaughter at worst, at best, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, I should say involuntary manslaughter. Because, again, folks, there are differences between the different
Emma could
variants
make a plea of insanity. Emma could make a plea of insanity.
She could make a plea of insanity, but even still, she's still going in the clink.
Oh, yeah. But
She's
anyway,
going in the psychiatric clink.
as fun as this has been, let us get back to the story.
I was just going to say, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. It's just that Wild Bow is...
Don't get me wrong. I love ripping on Wildbow for how many plot inconsistencies he has just in the starting arc as to why everything goes down the route that it does. And it is so wildly inconsistent with so many characters holding idiot balls. And it's just obvious. On one hand, I do appreciate him not trying to talk out of his ass when it comes to laws and shit, and he just ignored it. But I don't know if that's worse or not.
Well, here's the thing. I would have been fine with him ignoring it if he'd made any kind of semi-reasonable explanation for what happened. The kind of explanation that could have been gathered from 20 minutes on a Wikipedia page.
Fair enough.
Of, like, oh, well, what's her face? The handler was super corrupt, so she just never mentioned it to the PRT, and then the handler, being super corrupt, got Sophia off, and then because Sophia got off, Danny successfully argued, well, look, this juvenile delinquent isn't getting charged, so certainly my precious little snowflake shouldn't be charged.
You mean Alan, but yes.
What?
You mean
yeah.
Alan, but yes.
Yeah, sorry, Alan. So certainly my precious little snowflake who's had a horrible mental trauma in the past few years shouldn't be charged.
We didn't get her fucking
and then the other two go, well, look, these two have gotten away just fine. So, you know, why is my kid getting a rap here?
Yeah, even something basic that should be fine. But anyway.
Which, of course, for the record, everything I just said is utter and complete nonsense, and not how the U.S. court system,
Not
or
at all.
any decent court system works in any capacity. But even just a half-ass like
by
that.
the power of author hand wavium, the judge is corrupt, and the media were paid off by the PRT or Cauldron or whatever. Just literally just give us something.
You know what? That would be interesting. Turn the Cauldron. Make the Cauldron to Taylor what Thanos is to, what was his name? Fred?
You destroyed my life. You took everything from me. I don't even know who the fuck you are.
Who's the dude that Thanos always fucks with? Like, just some random civvy that he always comes like, I'm just gonna fuck your life up. Why?
Oh,
yes,
I can't.
Fred?
Hold on.
Is that
I
Fred?
thought it was Fred.
I think it's Fred. I don't know, guys. I think Thanos Copter was peak Marvel. I just realized y'all have been talking about murder and law for the past 30 minutes. I mean, yeah, that's what we do. Basically, we find a story, and we don't like the story, so instead of reading the story, we talk about, like, actual, like, good information that people can use, or just, you know, take and learn things. You know, we're called educational for a reason.
Yeah, it's like, for some reason, every day on this day, I'm gonna go fuck with this kid.
Anyway, so, motherfucker, the scream rang out from behind me as I ran towards the fire escape. So, cannon. A wave of fire cannon. Cannon. Cannon,
I'm sorry, I love this one.
wasn't...
Happy birthday, David! You got me fired? No, that was just bad luck. Then, your cat's dead.
Anyway, so, Sooth wasn't burning, and neither way my hair. Lucky I had that luck earlier. Looking up, I spot giant person clad in silver scale get to his feet. One claw hand covered part of his face I gotten with pepper spray. Blah blah, cannon, cocksucker, move, give me something to aim for. Swinging back and forth, they tried to hear me. A voice came out with ragged breaths, somewhere between Japanese and the rock in a washing machine. Oh yes, the dulcet tones of Rock in a Washing Machine. I love that band. Move, give me something to aim for. With no other option, I stopped moving and held my breath. The longer he didn't know where I was, the longer I had to come up with a plan. Anyway, so cannon. Lung catches on fire. Cannon. And then suddenly, a thunderous crack split the night, punching through his scales. It's actually another Today You Learned moment, guys. So, sniper rifles actually fire their bullets faster than the bullet makes the noise. So, you will actually see someone go down, and then, how is it, around 3 to 5 seconds later, depending on the distance, you'll hear the crack of the rifle.
Unless the dude was just holding it like 30 feet away for some reason.
I mean, obviously, the closer you get, you know, with standard rifles, pistols, and I mean, they're all firing their bullets at, you know, high speeds and high velocities and whatever you want to say. But due to the distance away, the sound reaches you at approximately the same speed the bullet's traveling in terms of your ability to recognize it.
A quick question, just aside, is there? I know there's been a D&D character like, it's a half orc that was a rogue because he just intimidated everyone?
Yes.
Have you guys ever heard of a story of a ranger who is the world's best shot because he just gets point blank with the arrow? Just has
Yeah.
high constitution and high dex?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
there's plenty of that.
Yeah.
I would say
I
there's the much better variant, which is where you take every possible range increment boosting feat you can possibly get.
And then
your
you're
hands
just
on.
like, hey, I'm gonna shoot my arrow from approximately fuck you feet away.
No, Sneaky. I mean, they only take shots from less than 20. Like, they are in melee range when they fire at you, so that they never miss. Like, someone's like, I'm the world's greatest sniper. Well, how far away are you usually? 10 feet? Don't people see you? No! Everyone's dead by the time I'm done. Your favorite version of it's a stealth mission if no one's alive to report it.
Look, man, I can say I was as stealthy as I want to. If everyone is dead, no one can contradict my story.
Except for the guy running the stealth mission with you.
I'll just shoot him in the end.
I'm really glad I didn't finish that Splinter Cell co-op with you the first time then, because guess how that ends?
Oh my god, it was so much fun watching Sneaky try to play whatchamacallit.
I don't know.
Oh,
Come on,
Dishonored
Brain.
2?
Come on.
There's a lot of things it's been fun to watch Sneaky try and play.
Come on, Brain. Work with me here. Work with me.
Dishonored?
No. We're the kids in America.
Oh, Metal Gear.
Oh. Well, good lucky for him, Metal Gear Solid 5 is like, yeah, we know we have a lot of people shit at stealth, so here's big boom booms.
Oh, I know. It was still funny to watch him start
Fuck!
attempting to be stealthy and fuck it all to 7 different kinds of hell, Max.
I'm curious, Sneaky, what was your average mission time? Because, like, for me, because I was always stealthy and pay attention, it was like 30 to 40 minutes on average for me. What was it for you?
Well, I either was able to do, if I knew the mission well enough because of how many times I repeated it, I think my
First run.
First run?
First runs.
My longest or my quickest?
Let's go with your quickest. If you remember which mission that is, that'd be a good, be a good thing.
Let's see. I don't think I died on the first extraction mission, where I had to Fulton out the guy from inside the building. Like when you got the scientist, you could position him in a certain spot inside the building and Fulton him through the hole. I think I completed that one in about 30.
Okay. Is this one of the few missions you managed to stealth through without too much issue on the first run? Because that mission was pretty simple.
If you call driving a Jeep so quickly they didn't have time to trigger their spot on me as stealthing through a majority of it, then yes.
Technically, yes.
Yes, I stealthed the majority of it.
Well, okay, listen. The important part is that the way we're defining the stealth system here is, did anyone actually get alerted?
Not until I got to the building and had to go through the animation to get out of the Jeep. But I think they set off the alarm a little bit before I turned into that section, because I might have crashed a few times.
Might have. Oh.
Let's just say the Jeep was not an extraction option anymore.
Yeah, can I just say, I feel like if ever there was a stealth game I'd love to play with Sneaky, it's going to be Metal Gear Solid 5 because it is one of the best open world stealth games I've played in a while.
I don't know, man. I think Assassin's Creed Unity was pretty fantastic.
Oh, no, that was fun in a different way.
Oh shit, there's 2 people up there. Bang! Bang! Stealth.
I'm just sitting there like, did no one hear the flintlock? Because these things are not
Did
quiet.
nobody hear the flintlock in
No,
the
Max.
sewers?
Max, here's the problem. The issue is, it wasn't that nobody heard it. It's that it was England. They just kept walking.
No, I don't know, man. But Max, we did have some pretty epic moments in Unity when we were doing the co-op things. Like the time we both vaulted over boxes at the same time, pulled out our pistols, and shot two guys at the same time. In like perfect synchronicity.
And then there was
Accidentally.
the time you got knocked out in an underground Russian club, and I'm just like, Sneaky, could you just please use your pistol for once while I try and revive you?
But I wanted to
Night,
fisticuff them. Oh, good night,
I
Pedro.
see it.
Also, yeah, Dr. Catfish, I was gonna say, you see, most of the time we get distracted because there's usually genuinely less painful for us. Like, your story was not one of those instances. But stuff like this...
Oh, well, no, I
mean,
just had a lot to talk about when it came to his story.
I would just say, this? We don't want to talk about this nonsense.
It's going to mostly be a rehash. You can see, just reading here, it's a bunch of rehash of canon.
It's basically canon, except suddenly Ruby shoots him in the head, and then, because Ruby just shoots people in the head with her sniper rifle, without making sure they have aura first.
Also, I want to give Catfish a little praise, because I've been reading through his fic, and I actually liked what he did with Zero. I liked all the changes. Kind of weirded out by some of the stuff he's doing with Shield, but he did something that a lot of authors would have ignored.
Okay.
For Fate Zero going to Fate Stay Night.
I'm listening.
Ryunosuke was still running around because Ryunosuke was no longer part of the war. The Ryunosuke, Caster's Master, the crazy psychopath killer. Yep. Yeah, he was still running around, and for the last
Wasn't he an assassin or something?
No,
he had Gil's Dre's.
Oh, Gil's, right, yeah, Gil's, right.
Okay. He had Caster Gil's.
So I was thinking of the Fate Stay Night assassin that got Caster.
No.
Fate Zero, Ryunosuke still running around, and for the last 7 years, he had still been killing people. Or serial killings of kids and young men and women.
Right.
Because he wasn't absolutely obliterated during the Fourth War.
Right.
I'm like, wait, purple with red hair. Oh. Okay, that's not good. Like, props to you, Catfish, for remembering the very important fact of this motherfucker operating within Fuyuki.
I've only read the second chapter. I like what he's doing so well, but I like what he's doing so far. Rather, I just haven't.
I'm supposed to be the drunk one here.
Fuck you. I'm trying to organize my thoughts to basically give this guy a reasonable excuse for why I haven't read his fairly well-written fan fiction. Other than, I'll be honest, I've been reading all of Terry Pratchett's stuff lately. Fuck you.
Feel like the fuck you wasn't necessary, but alright,
I feel like the fuck you is always necessary.
Well, no, it was more of a listen. Everybody else can go get bent. I'm rereading all of Discworld.
Fair enough.
Isn't that
my podcast is like
Speaking
my
of
entire
Discord.
podcast was like, can you please talk about something other than Terry Pratchett for the readers review this week? And I'm like,
no.
Oh man!
Listen, I crack through like 2 Discworld books a week. It's nothing but Discworld in this house.
Hey, if you want some trash for that reader's review, you should read through Planet of Twilight, the Star Wars novel that had the Jedi Hut. Ironically enough, the Jedi Hut was one of the better parts about that story. That's not saying.
Look, it can't be as bad as the Star Wars book that gave us the origin of the Death Trooper virus.
Okay, wait.
Those were silly.
They came up with an origin story. Oh my god.
Wait.
Yeah, no, Sneaky. It's a force plague from a.
Oh wait, no, I remember that. No.
It was like a semi-sentient force flower.
All right, wasn't that
kidnapped?
Wasn't that
by
in
a
the
dark
sequel?
sider?
Yeah.
Wasn't that in the sequel?
Yeah, that was in the sequel.
Yeah. Those books were silly.
I liked those books though.
They were
No,
so
no,
dumb.
the first Death Trooper book, good. Second Death Trooper book, bad.
Really? I don't know. I still like. Look. I was just like, look. It's a zombie story in Star Wars. You know,
This is silly. I'm gonna read
it's
this.
already dumb. I'm not gonna complain too much about
No,
more
no,
dumb things.
no, but here's the thing. The first one wasn't dumb. Like, as far as zombie stories go, it's one of the better zombie stories.
It's still silly.
It's still
I'm
silly.
not saying, I'm just saying as far as zombie stories go, it's certainly one of the better ones. And they were like, listen, this happened on one ship. A prisoner ship. Which the Imperial Navy promptly blew to fucking smithereens.
Also, I do like how they're like, well, how did the virus spread on the ship? Well, it's 2 words. Okay, zombie Wookie. Fair enough.
That's actually one of the that's one of the better things of like, oh, why don't you just kill Patient Zero? Well, it was a Wookiee. Oh,
That would do it.
It's
that
like,
would do it.
yeah, why didn't all the prisoners just beat down everyone who started looking funky? Because these are all, like, horrible murderers. Wookie.
It was a Wookiee.
because it would literally take all of them, and there's not enough room for that.
It did
Well,
take
and they
all
were
of
all
them.
in cells.
It did take all of them.
And then they started making it to be like the fucking flood or something towards the end.
I was at that point I was like, okay, they're probably, if they do a sequel to this, because I did check to see if they did a sequel, and they did. I was like, okay, well, clearly it's going to be some sort of like minorly, flood inspired thing, and it's probably going to be coming from Korriban. Because everything bad in Star Wars comes from Korriban.
No, to be fair, some of it came from the Central Core. The Deep Core.
True, yeah.
I would say, well, no, I was gonna say, I think in terms of badness, it's like 30% Central Core, like Deep Core, probably 40% Korriban, everywhere else.
Yeah. I'll give you that. Alright, so, it's Ruby. Ruby shows up, and the author describes Ruby, and blah blah blah. It's Ruby. It's Ruby with her gun.
Ruby is Ruby.
Ruby's got a gun, and he started to raise his arms to cast Firebolt, and another person came hurtling from the rooftop. He had just been blasting with fire. The only thing she noticed about the person was that they were Yang Xiaolong. And then
I noticed that they're related to me.
And then Yang punched Lung in the head so hard, an explosion happened, sending bone, blood, and scale everywhere. His head was pulverized into the roof.
No, pretty sure Yang wouldn't be able to do that.
I mean, she can hit pretty fucking hard.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure she wouldn't immediately jump to lethal force for something that isn't a Grim, which Lung is certainly monstrous looking, but he's definitely not a Grim.
Okay, that's fair. I don't want to defend the story here, but do consider the alternate point. He was just spotted by the two of them, actively trying to burn someone alive.
True. But even then, like, for crying out loud, think of all the people whose skulls she could have pulped by now.
Yeah.
Who were trying to kill her.
And you do have to also keep in mind here again, there is a sort of tropey personality trait in where these sorts of people are fine when they're the ones being targeted, but when other people are targeted, then they take it more seriously.
Have I missed anything
Yeah.
important?
No.
Yang just blew Lung's head off.
Oh! Was this before he turned into Metal Dragon?
What if they are all secretly Borgas? Says Super Potatoes.
Who's secretly a... What?
Borga.
There's supposed to be a different word there, or is he actually asking if there's supposed to be ground beef shaped into a patty?
They're all secretly animated ground beef golems.
Oh, that makes sense. Thank you for clearing that up.
I want to click on the YouTube link, but it's probably going to be really, really not good, so I'm not going to click on the YouTube link, and everyone should thank me for that. Anyway, so, blah blah blah, their feet struck the gravel, digging through it. They came to a stop besides the short person in red. Yeah, so, Yang punched Lung so hard after she jumped. So, we're breaking the paint out, boys.
Oh
That's
boy.
not it. That's my task manager. Oh no, you guys get to see all my secrets of the fact that I just have a shit ton of processes for Google Chrome open.
It's all his porn.
Sneaky, did you learn the secret that once you go past a certain tab limit, Google Chrome just starts caching things that are off the taskbar?
What do you mean?
I've had so many tabs open at once that I've had to close tabs out because tabs that were at the very end of it were cached and, like, temporarily shut down until they could be opened again.
Hmm.
So it's very interesting.
So here we have ground, and here we have building, and here we have Taylor on ground, next to building, and she's got
Yes.
brown hair. Where's the color brown? How did I get the colors to show up again? Colors.
I kind of want to send you like a shitty $20 drawing pad just for these segments.
Oh, right, up here. Okay. So, of course, we all gotta remember that she has shit brown hair. And she's very proud of her shit brown hair. She's so proud of her shit brown hair that she wears her shit brown hair openly while she's a cape and while not a cape. Because no one will ever connect that.
I mean, come on, Sneaky. Brown hair is a very rare color. Just like brown eyes.
Some of the rarest combinations ever are brown hair and brown eyes. It's literally never seen before. Anyway, so there's her definitely brown hair. No, shut the fuck up. It's brown. Live with it. And so here's the building that Ruby is shooting from, or something, whatever. So we have Ruby. And this is her gun. Drawn to scale, of course.
This is my gun. It goes bang.
I'll add the scythe blade. And the scope. Yep. It's definitely a scope and a scythe blade. It looks in the mirror. Am I a joke to you? And so here's Long being really big. And so Yang, right? You know what? We're gonna do this with red, so everyone knows it's Yang. So everyone associates red with Yang. So Yang jumps from this roof down at Long, and then punches him so hard they travel back up onto the roof next to Ruby.
Oh, of course. She's sure you can, Tim.
Yeah, pretty much. But also exploding his head like a watermelon. And they came to a stop, and they let out a loud whoop. Some of the police. Whoop, whoop. A wide grin spread across their singular face. Those glowing red eyes met mine, and we stared at each other. And then Lung groaned, because he still had a head, even though Yang
Despite it
blew it
being
off.
punched into oblivion.
Yeah, even despite Yang blowing Lung's head off, he once more had a head. So then he proceeds to describe Yang in a very shit tier fashion. But it's Yang. And, Yang flirts with her by winking at her jauntily. And,
Yes, because Yang hits on everything that moves.
she pumped her shotgun hands.
Some of you who are unfamiliar with Ruby, because you're all totally unfamiliar with Ruby here, may not know that that isn't a euphemism. She actually has hands that are shotguns.
Yeah, honestly, I'm a little bit more confused by what's about to happen. Mostly because this is like Japanese RPG cutscene style, like, combo attack that's about to happen. So, Lung, the big bad, is pushing himself up off the ground. And Ruby and Yang look at each other, and with smirks, they dash forward into a Y and go on each side of him. And his head came up as he heard the movement, and he roared, sending fire at them, but he was so slow that they dodged it. And the person in red crouched and then leapt. The person in red crouched before leaping.
Yeah, Sneaky, don't you know you gotta crouch jump? Can't clear the boxes
No,
otherwise.
it's the tensing. Anyway, so the person crouched and then leapt, and then the rose petals in her cloak trailing behind her as she raised her scythe high. And then the blonde turned, boot digging into the gravel for purchase, as her launched herself headfirst into fire, one arm held up to shield her face. Okay. Long sluggishly turned to meet the charge of the blondes, leaving himself open. The red-cloaked person came down like a thunderbolt, the scythe's blade glinting into firelight as the gunshot escaped the back of the scythe and sped it up even further. That's not how recoil works. The scythe's blade glinting in the firelight, a gunshot escaped a diagonal cut, which resulted in his entire left arm being separated with a spurt of blood. Can scythes even cut diagonally?
Yeah, assuming they went top down.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you would have better luck cutting with a scythe going from bottom up due to the hooking maneuver you would need to do. When you're
No,
going,
but lots of for war sides, and
yeah, but hers isn't a war scythe. A war scythe is a little bit less than a glaive. It's effectively a fat spear.
I know. I'm just saying the closest we get to it, and there were actually combat texts for peasants using their like threshing scythes.
Well, yes, obviously, because you had to use whatever's
Which is-
on hand.
Let me finish. And because a threshing scythe is the closest thing we have to Ruby's actual scythe,
I mean, it
one
is,
of those
though.
was no, it's not quite because it doesn't have the handles in the right spot. Anyway, point is, it emphasized diagonal cuts. It truly did for threshing.
Well,
scythes.
yeah. I mean, yeah, you do. But you cut from bottom up though with it.
No, like it. Just the best thing to do with it was much like a great sword or a battle axe, diagonals. Didn't matter. Now, you would still want to go from the bottom up, but any diagonal was preferable
Yeah,
to
but
other
a diagonal, though, from top down would get your weapon stuck due to the arcing nature of the blade of the scythe.
if you don't know what you're doing. Presumably, someone like Ruby knows that she, just like Marth, has to start with the tip.
Yeah, but but my problem here is when it comes to the scythe, new animation. We're gonna try this, right?
Oh, Jesus Christ, I hadn't bothered to look at this because I didn't want to.
So you got your person here, and with a scythe, you have to hold it down. You know, threshing scythe. Keep in mind. How it's normally used is you hold it down and you bring it up in a slightly diagonal horizontal cut. And that allows the blade to wrap around the wheat and cut it. Same process would apply to a human. Because you're starting at the bottom and lifting up, you both A, get the cut across the person for what little you do, but also, due to the motion involved, you are naturally bringing the blade back out. Going from the top down, you are pushing the blade in. So unless your blade and you are strong enough to rip through whatever the blade gets stuck in from there, I mean, again, if it's peasant versus peasant, then you really don't have to worry too much about armor they're wearing. But, you know, say someone has metal scales that are as tough as steel.
Okay, but you're not taking into account the absurd nature of Ruby's own weapon.
Yes, it is absurd.
That cuts through bone spurs.
Yes.
Which, I'll grant you, that's not quite steel, but we've certainly seen Grim resilient enough that those bone plates take bullets in excess of 50 caliber without even shattering.
That is true. That is fair.
And that scythe cuts through those.
Also true and fair. But also have to keep in mind that Lung is currently on fire. Hot fire, like asphalt melting fire. Like, I'm going to destroy your weapon's integrity if it's, say, a mecha shift weapon being shoved into me. Fire.
Okay, but if that was the case, come on, Sneaky. Every single one of their weapons
Catfish
broken
makes a very good example. Every single one of their weapons. Catfish makes a very good point, is to do a top to bottom strike, you would have to strike down and yank out simultaneously, and that's a lot of extra wasted motion.
I'm not saying it isn't. None of what I'm saying here is to say that the author,
but
Ruby
the thing
and
here
by
is
author,
I'm not
being
disagreeing that a top-down cut wouldn't work. My problem here is that she's not going for an impalement. She's trying to use it, like you said, as a greatsword with a top-down cut. Which,
and
again, if it hits, because the real cutting power of a scythe is the inner part of the blade. If you are hitting someone successfully with a scythe with the inner part of the blade going into them, that is a lethal blow on anybody. And as far as we are aware, these two people aren't aware that Lung can regenerate from this yet.
Correct.
Ruby doesn't do lethal. Like, even when a thug was holding her at gunpoint saying, "I'm mugging you, kid," yeah, she threw him through glass, which isn't the brightest of ideas, but she's a kid. You know, it's not like she took her scythe out and bisected the man.
She just punted him through a glass window. I get it.
But
I would say, and yes, that's an entirely different problem of now you have Ruby doing a lethal action.
yeah.
The only point I'm making is, technically speaking, totally doable. Completely feasible.
Also, there's nothing restraining, like, the scything motion of a scythe. Because the author is saying here that it wasn't a body shot. The author is saying is that it was a limb shot, and they cut the arm off. They cut it off at the pass, and the limb is gone. But he would have to be actively resisting the blade to get a dismemberment from that. You know, like he's just weakly, flailing around right now, and he's stumbling and shit. Like he's saying that she did a top-down swipe in this direction that also hooked the arm in, but didn't hook it in too much, but didn't hit his body, but also cut the arm off. With a top-down swipe.
I mean, listen. I didn't know that. I only go off what I've been told.
It's 9:10.
I know.
Been a while since we've gone over. Been a few months.
No, you weren't here for the last stream. We went pretty long on that one too.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, you guys went long on Friday?
Yeah.
It was on one story.
Yeah.
It was only. Oh Jesus.
We were angry.
Oh.
I was angry.
Sneaky was angry.
Oh my God. That was literally.
Anyway,
trying to
so
find that
the sisters Graham call each other Red and Yellow.
Why would they not just call each other by their names?
Oh, because they're totally hip and cool with the cape culture. Because they're both wearing yellow and red masks with their emblem on them. And, then Yang flies in after delimbing Lung and uppercuts right into his ribs and blows out his entire chest cavity. Oh, I'm just kidding. It just sends Lung flying backwards a little bit.
Because that's how that works.
Yeah, when you uppercut someone's liver at the speed of fuck you, yeah, you just get sent back flying a little bit. No critical internal damage happens.
That's fine.
Capes are stupid. Didn't you know that a real superhero got sucked into a jet engine because of his cape? No capes! Except Ruby loves her cape. Anyway, the reference to me managed to break me out of my stupor, and I shut my jaw to click, and I stood up, and I blah blah blah, it's Ruby. Blah 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 blah. You must be in shock. What do I do when someone's in shock? Oh, I learned this. Oh, you need to lie down. What? You're in shock. You need to lie down and get an ambulance. I guess the author is trying to go for Ruby as being childish. I mean, there's a difference between being, whoa, dude, Jesus Christ, what the fuck just happened? And being in shock where you're just like, whoa.
I would say, she's not pale, she's not trembling.
I'm fine, really. All I managed to get was clipped, blah 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 blah. Tilting her head, I realized why. I heard the sound of the blonde cheering and combat had stopped. And she totally kicked the shit out of Lung because she's so amazing and powerful and strong. And then we walked over to where the sounds are coming from, and the blonde was doing a victory dance. She was Fortnite dancing on top of Lung. The silver-eyed girl groans at the blonde's antics, and I turned to look at her. The groan seemed super familiar. As she turned to look at me, our eyes met, and I felt mine widen behind my mask as I recognized her. My head whipped over to stare at the blonde as I finally made the connection. Before
Oh, don't
looking
worry,
back at the silver-eyed girl, the process was, of course, repeated a couple more times for comedic effect, before I realized that the girl in front of me was, in fact, Ruby Rose.
And why does she know her?
Because Ruby and Yang go to Winslow.
Of course they do. Oh wow, hey, that's a $30 drawing tablet. Good job, Pedro. By the way, don't worry, Isabella. Don't worry, Isabel. We got plenty.
Don't
We
worry.
got plenty of
We
garbage.
got about we got about 429.
That being said, we appreciate suggestions. Leave a link in the Discord.
Go
We'll
read my
get
other
to it
stories.
eventually.
Maybe
Soon.
next Tuesday.
.tn.
So yeah. So she's in Glady's class now, and she's the blah blah blah. Students are trickling in, and there's a new popular girl. And I jumped at the voice, and it was Ruby in a baggy sweater with skulls on it, wearing a hoodie. Basically, it's goth punk if the author didn't know how to describe goth punk. And I looked at her eyes and realized that they were gray eyes, which is actually even more rare than brown eyes. Turning my head, I didn't bother paying attention to the new girl. Apparently, a new junior left a strong impression, having snubbed the ABB. What's his class like? Is the teacher good? It's alright if you have friends. He likes to give group work. I hate group work. And then Ruby and Taylor shook hands, agreeing to be friends. And author's note, I am back from my hiatus. You might be asking, why did I write this story? Why did I write this story in this way? And to be honest with you, I wrote it because I noticed that Yang and Victoria are very close in personality. And I just couldn't help but write this story. Now, before we continue, I want you all to know that Yang and Ruby aren't the only ones showing up. Oh, Ruby and Yang are not the Ruby counterparts from Remnant. These are original characters based off of them that were born on Earth Bet. They are basically parahuman versions of those characters. Other Ruby characters that will be showing up in the form of parahuman original Earth Bet characters will also be their family, wife, Blackie, Pyrrha,
No,
John.
Sneaky, please read correctly.
I did.
Only the family showing up. No one else is.
Hold on. It's the author did not get to the part. They just started naming things.
Yeah, after ending with a period.
As much as I love them, will not be making appearances besides referring to them. I'm making passing cameos. Putting
At least this author knew to put this in a crossover, by the way, unlike that Dark Souls dickhead.
Oh my god, that guy. They're my original characters because I gave them last names. Putting all of the characters into Worm would steal screen time from Worm characters. Which ones? Oh, you mean because Taylor's gonna follow the stations of canon and, of course, become best friends with the Undersiders. Right. Why should we read your story? In a different setting would mean the characters wouldn't be the exact same anyway. Well, okay, so I'm going to give the author kudos on this part. They did actually recognize the fact that OCs based off of characters from a different genre would in fact not be carbon copies in this new world due to the changes in culture and setting. I am impressed, author. Congratulations, you get a whole 5 points on the 100 point scale. It is enough to bring you up to -10. Anyway, does anyone else have anything else to add before we close out for the night?
No.
Every day I wish to die. My suffering is eternal. This podcast is only one portion of it.
Sneaky, you should put the tablet on your public wish list. Why would I do that? The meme? I
Say, first of all, he doesn't even have a public wish list that's accessible to you fuckers.
Yeah, second of all, I don't draw, and I get it. Oh, haha, using a tablet to draw this shit tier paint stuff. Funny. I would actually feel really bad, even if I haven't even clicked on the link to the tablet yet. Even if the tablet costs $5, I would still feel bad if someone bought that for me.
It costs $30.
Alright, that's like a whole bottle of alcohol I could drink instead. Anyway, so yeah, since we have no closing remarks from anyone else, I'm just gonna say goodnight to you all, and thank you for showing up, unlike, the other 40 people in my Discord. Who for some reason are in my Discord.
Don't watch the show.
Who don't watch the show.
How do they find the Discord if they don't watch the show?
I'm not sure.
Why do they do this to you?
I don't know. I don't know why I have, 50-some people in my Discord, and, 5 of them show up. Law of proportions, I guess, or something. Anyway, be sure to tell friends.
Say, it's not even like we, because, we do check the statistics. It's not even like they're showing up after the fact, right? And watching VODs.
No, they don't. No one shows up afterward to watch the VODs besides Isley.
Because Isley is our archivist.
Yep.
And semi-diligent researcher.
Of questionable content. But that is not the point here. The point here and now is thank you all for showing up. Be sure to tell your friends, family, and other rivals or hated individuals about this podcast. Spread the news, spread the word, spread the Discord. Because, the more people that show up, the more I get to talk about things that aren't fanfics. And the more I get to actually give advice on how to write better and what would make a good story versus a bad story. And other various topics I suppose I could actually codify and turn into videos that I could post on both my Twitch and YouTube pages. But that sounds like work, and I prefer to just drink out of a can and rant about it instead. And with that, I will see you all next time. That is Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, because, of course, there is always more, and it always gets worse.